Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha television. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Rausen Pereira. Here are the headlines. Parliament adjourned sine die. Entire budget session sees 28% productivity in the Rajya Sabha and 23% in the Lok Sabha. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu expresses deep concern over disruption, stresses convergence of different agendas for the proper functioning of the House. Cutting across party lines, senior leaders in the Rajya Sabha expressed remorse for session washout, calling the smooth functioning of the House a collective responsibility. Members make many suggestions, including a 2-week special session to address pending legislative business. Prime Minister Narendra Modi blames opposition parties for the impasse in Parliament, announces a fast by BJP MPs on April 12th. To protest against disruptions in both houses of Parliament. Addressing the party's 38th Foundation Day rally, BJP President Amit Shah says Modi government will keep reservation policy intact. Visiting Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli invites Indian business community to invest in Nepal, meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi ahead of their summit talks tomorrow, announces plans to make special economic zone in the region bordering India. At the Commonwealth Games, Sanjita Chanu wins India's second gold in the women's 53-kilogram weightlifting event. Deepak Lather wins bronze medal in the men's 69-kilogram event. 4 medals added to India's tally so far. Well, both the houses were adjourned sine die on Friday as the stalemate continued even on the last day. In the entire budget session, Lok Sabha carried out just 23% of legislative work, while Rajya Sabha managed about 28%. Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu and Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan expressed concern over anguish over the disruptions.
The upper house could not function even on the last day of the second half of budget session. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu expressed displeasure over lack of productivity clocked in the House and adjourned the House sine die. In the first half of the budget session, Rajya Sabha carried out 96% of legislative work, while in the second half, only 6% work was done. The House could not pass the Payment of Gratuity Amendment Act 2018.
On this day, to give a brief account of what has happened, what has been done and delivered by the House today, I am compelled to reflect what could not have been done during such an important session, which is the longest of the year, with about 30 working days. This is a sad commentary on the functioning of our parliamentary institutions, reiterating that perception that they are on the decline.
Lok Sabha was also adjourned sine die after witnessing several disruptions. In the first half of the budget session, Lok Sabha managed to clock 134% legislative work, while in the second half, only 4% of legislative work was done. Just 5 bills were passed and 5 were introduced during the budget session in the Lok Sabha. The Finance Bill 2018, the Payment of Gratuity Amendment Bill 2017 and the Specific Relief Amendment Bill 2017 were among those bills that were passed.
इस सत्र में जबकि व्यवधान और विभिन्न कारणों से सदनों के कारण 127 घंटे 45 मिनट तक कार्य बाधित रहा, सभा ने 9 घंटे और 47 मिनट देर तक बैठकर अविलंबनीय अर्जेंट गवर्नमेंट बिजनेस भी पूरा किया.
During the budget session, legislative work of 23% in the Lok Sabha and 28% in the Rajya Sabha were completed. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar has accused the Congress party for the continued logjam.
यानी बजट सत्र का कुल मिलाकर के एवरेज लोकसभा का 23% और राज्यसभा का 28% रहा है. दूसरे चरण का सत्र नहीं चला. उसका एक ही कारण है, कांग्रेस पार्टी और कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेतृत्व का लोकतंत्र खिलाफ के रवैया.
Lok Sabha held a total of 29 meetings in the entire budget session, while Rajya Sabha held 30. No confidence notices from members of various parties were submitted in the Lok Sabha. However, the motion could not be taken up due to noisy protests. The second part of the budget session witnessed numerous disruptions and protests by various members over several issues like the Punjab National Bank fraud, the constitution of the Kaveri Water Management Board and special status to Andhra Pradesh. With inputs from Ravindra Shorat and Panchanan Mishra, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu expressed deep concern over frequent disruptions of the Rajya Sabha that led to the washout of the second half of the budget session. Adjourning the House sine die on Friday, Chairman Naidu said that the upper house should not become a clog in the wheel of the nation's progress.
As well as the other response.
Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday expressed anguish at the frequent disruptions in the second half of the budget session. In his valedictory address, he said an eminently forgettable session had come to an end.
I am pained to note that it turned out to be an eminently forgettable one on account of utter disregard of the mandate of this important parliamentary institution and its responsibilities and missed opportunities.
According to Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu, the total breakdown of communication between all sections of the upper house was the root cause of the prolonged stalemate.
At the end of such a long session, what is that we can show to the people of our country as our contribution towards addressing their concerns and furthering their genuine aspirations? I am afraid nothing. As a result, we are all the losers. I am disturbed to note that the total breakdown in the communication among various sections of the House, that was the root of the prolonged stalemate and ruined this important session.
Chairman Naidu also said the Rajya Sabha had a special responsibility in passing bills. Recalling the fears of the Constituent Assembly over the role of the upper house, he cautioned members not to make the Rajya Sabha a clog in the wheel of the nation's progress.
During the Constituent Assembly debates on the need for Council of States, some members feared that it would prove to be a clog in the wheel of progress, involving expenses and not making much contribution. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of the country, who was among the important members of the drafting committee of the Constitution, he said that was set up for reporting and the structure and functioning of the future legislature of our country, has feared in 1936 that a second chamber, Council of States, will check any forward tendencies of the lower house and will be reactionary. Are we making Nehruji's worst fears come true? I hope we are not. We should not, for the sake of our parliamentary democracy and the people.
The Rajya Sabha chairman also pointed out that the upper house has a special status in legislation and appointment of members, and the house should carry forward the tradition of dignified debates and discussions on important issues of public concern. He said that due to disruptions, the house could not discuss important issues like the SC/ST Act, banking fraud and even budget. Adjourning the house sine die, the chairman expressed hope of a productive upcoming monsoon session.
The house stands adjourned sine die.
Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, soon after Parliament was adjourned sine die, senior leaders of several political parties met with Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu. Sources reveal that senior leaders from the BJP, Congress, TMC, CPU, TDP and others proposed to conduct a 2-week special session to take up the important bills and public issues. Acknowledged that the budget session was a washout was a collective responsibility of which they were not happy about. The leaders made several suggestions to prevent repetition in the future. In the meeting that went on for half an hour, the leaders suggested a ban on placards and banners in the House, a clear definition of protest and action to be taken against those violating the rules. The leaders also suggested to Chairman Naidu to convene a meeting of the General Purposes Committee of the House to deliberate on action to be taken against persistent disruptors. Those present in the meeting with Sri Naidu included Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, Leader of the Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad, Anand Sharma, Derek O'Brien, D. Raja and CM Ramesh.
Congress is not responsible for the disruption. We wanted debate, we wanted accountability, and we shall continue to demand that. We have today told the chairman of the Rajya Sabha to inform the government that we are willing, do not prorogue the houses. They have been adjourned only sine die. Reconvene the parliament for 2 weeks or 10 days to debate these 5 issues and to legislate, bring the important laws. We have told the ball is in their court.
Well, 5 YSR Congress MPs resigned from the Lok Sabha to protest the failure of the NDA government to grant special category status to Andhra Pradesh. The MPs expressed outrage as notices for no confidence motion against the NDA government could not be taken up for discussion in the House due to continuous disruptions. Party MPs also blamed Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu of disrespecting democracy for failing to keep their promises to the people of Andhra Pradesh. On March 31st, YSRCP Chief Jagan Mohan Reddy had announced that his party's MPs will quit to press for the special category status to Andhra Pradesh. BJP and Congress blamed each other for the stalemate in the parliament in the second half of the budget session. Prime Minister Narendra Modi accused the Congress of playing divisive politics. Congress, meanwhile, blamed the government for ignoring opposition demands and avoiding discussion on major issues.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday accused the opposition of playing divisive and negative politics. Blaming the Congress for the stalemate in Parliament, he announced at the BJP Parliament meet that BJP MPs will observe a fast on April 12th to protest against the opposition's tactics. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar announced that BJP will embark on a Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas Abhiyan from April 14th, the birth anniversary of Dr. Ambedkar, to the 5th of May. During this period, BJP MPs and leaders will spend a night in 20,844 villages that have over 50% population of scheduled castes and tribes to inform them about the centre's various measures aimed at their welfare.
सदन को काम करने नहीं दिया, लोकतंत्र की गला घोटने की काम कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया, नकारात्मक और असहिष्णुता के राजनीति की, इसके खिलाफ हमारे सभी एमपी अपने अपने संसदीय क्षेत्र में एक दिन का अनशन करने वाले हैं.
The BJP MPs also protested in front of the Gandhi statue in Parliament House against the logjam in Parliament.
चाहते थे कि हर मुद्दे पर चर्चा हो, लेकिन विपक्ष मुद्दा विहीन है, उसके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं है और वो इस कमजोरी को छुपाने के लिए संसद को न चलने दे, इसकी साजिश उसका षड्यंत्र करती रही और उन्होंने संसद को नहीं चलने दिया.
They have no issues. In the last elections, they did not even get 10% of the seats to be recognized as the leader of opposition. So it is truly unfortunate, and I think this is a party which is facing political extinction.
करने के लिए विपक्षी पार्टियों के पास में और विशेष रूप से कांग्रेस के पास में किसी तरह का कोई भी मुद्दा नहीं था. उन्होंने नकारात्मक राजनीति करने के तरीके को अपना.
Congress MPs also protested in the parliament premises over issues like the SC/ST Act and PNB fraud. They accused the government of avoiding discussion on all crucial matters.
As far as Congress party is concerned, हम लोग कंस्ट्रक्टिव अपोजिशन है. अभी जो घटना घटी है एक महीने में, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के और रूलिंग के बी टीम के लोग हाउस को स्टॉल किया. हम लोग तैयार थे नीरव मोदी के बारे में चर्चा करने के लिए और फार्मर सुसाइड के बारे में चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार नहीं था. अभी जब सत्ता में आता है तो आप लोगों का रुख अलग है, जब विपक्ष में जो बैठते हैं आप लोगों का रुख अलग है. लोग देख रहा है.
The second half of Parliament's budget session that started on March 5th ended on Friday without transacting any major legislative business, with the disruption stalling proceedings every day of the session. Ravindra Singh Sharon and Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, moving on to other news now. In a major announcement yesterday, the RBI banned banks from providing services to any individual or business dealing in virtual currencies. The central bank has given banks 3 months to end all existing relations with Bitcoin players and has announced introduction of its own cryptocurrency or fiat digital currency. And interdepartmental group has been constituted to study and provide guidance on the desirability and feasibility to introduce central bank digital currency and will submit its report by June. RBI's move against cryptocurrencies came 2 months after Finance Minister Arun Jaitley termed cryptocurrencies as not legal in his budget speech. And for more on this, we have with us on the program Shubhamoy Bhattacharjee, consulting editor of the Business Standards, joining us right now. Shubhamoy, welcome and thank you for joining us on the program. You know, as far as cryptocurrencies are concerned, why has the RBI decided to go ahead and ban it?
Well, you know, Frank, cryptocurrency, the RBI has never been very comfortable with it. And primarily because even though cryptocurrency came up as a sort of a response to arbitrariness, perceived arbitrariness of several central banks in the way they have conducted their monetary policy in the last few years, you know, quantitative easing, the other areas of monetary loosening by Eurobank, by European Central Bank. The problem that cryptocurrency is now create for India is that they are an excellent way for any trafficking, narco trafficking, or any other money laundering operation to duck under the legitimate banking operation. So, you can create all sorts of safeguards in the banking system, but those safeguards will not amount for anything if the operation can be done through cryptocurrency. And that is why RBI has decided to step in to block it.
Sure. And what happens to all those people who already have cryptocurrency?
Well, yes, it's a bit of a problem for them, and primarily also because even though RBI has been fairly clear, it has been warning people to stay away from cryptocurrency, the government has been less than clear. And one of the things is, for instance, the government has recently announced capital gains tax. Now, that almost sort of legitimized cryptocurrency in a way, which probably wasn't a great idea. They should have waited for more consultations with RBI. Now what happens is that all those who have built up cryptocurrency positions will need to liquidate those, and whether they can liquidate those will be difficult unless RBI opens a window for some time for them to liquidate their assets. So yes, it's a difficult situation, but it affects people with the point is that the common man, that typical common man, doesn't affect it. So there is that aspect to it also.
And there is this other aspect of it as well, where the RBI is considering or contemplating bringing out its own form of cryptocurrency or digital currency. What's going to happen on that front?
This, I think, is going to take time, because essentially it is not a currency that you can in one form. Let's look at it this way, that every currency today, including the Indian rupee or dollar or anything, is available, is a digital currency too. And there's a digital framework coming up. But that digital framework needs to become more robust before you can really put in cryptocurrency. For instance, what happens, what is the rate of exchange? Will it be a rupee or will it be a dollar currency? What will be the exchange rate at which that currency will be transacted? And then what does it then therefore create questions of capital account convertibility? That is something that the RBI will have to wonder. So, there are lots of issues there in setting up a parallel cryptocurrency market. All the challenges which RBI now faces will be there, minus, of course, the fact that it will not be able to duck under the RBI controls. Sure. But the fact of managing two currencies, one convertible, one not convertible, will be a challenge which RBI will have to, look through carefully before it even brings such a currency in the market.
All right, Shubham Bhattacharya, we'll have to leave that. Thank you so much for joining us there and putting things into perspective for us. Moving on now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday interacted with thousands of BJP workers on the 38th foundation day of the party. Addressing them through video conferencing, Modi said that the BJP is a party that is completely driven by democratic rules. During the interaction, he also credited party workers for taking the party to new heights.
On the BJP's 38th Foundation Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday credited party workers for taking the organization to new heights. He said the BJP is the party of a new India and his party believes in India's diversity, its unique culture and the strengths of the 125 crore Indians. He added that BJP workers should work for everybody's benefits. PM said this in an interaction with thousands of booth karyakartas along with the district presidents through the Narendra Modi app via video conferencing.
और ये टीम चुनाव जीतने की एक मशीन नहीं होनी चाहिए. ये जनसंपर्क का सबसे बड़ा हमारी टोली होनी चाहिए. समाज के छोटे से छोटे व्यक्तियों से डेली मिलते जुलते रहना चाहिए. उनके सुख दुख को समझना चाहिए. और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की नीति निर्धारण में पोलिंग बूथ का कार्यकर्ता नीचे से ऊपर की तरफ जानकारी पहुंचाता है.
During the interaction, PM also listened to the ideas of the party workers and discussed the schemes related to welfare of poor people.
टेक्नोलॉजी है, टेक्नोलॉजी का सही इस्तेमाल कर कर किस प्रकार से वो जुड़ सकते हैं और किस प्रकार से सबके साथ जुड़कर ये बात अपनी पहुंचाई जा सकती है, एफिशिएंसी बढ़ाई जा सकती है।
मुझे लग रहा है आज रात नींद नहीं आएगी मेरे को, क्योंकि मोदी जी से आज मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ, नरेंद्र मोदी जी का।
The Prime Minister also thanked the countrymen for their unwavering faith in the BJP. Anu Diwan's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, on BJP's 38th Foundation Day, Party President Amit Shah addressed a mega rally in Mumbai and asked party workers to start working towards the general election slated for 2019. He also accused the opposition of misleading the people on reservation, asserted that the Modi government will not scrap the policy or allow anyone else to do so. Here's a detailed report.
BJP President Amit Shah addressed a mega rally in Mumbai on the party's 38th Foundation Day. He called on BJP workers to start working towards Mission 2019. Accusing the opposition of misleading people on reservations, Shah asserted the Modi government will not scrap the reservation policy or allow anyone else to do so. Commenting on the opposition's efforts to stitch an alliance ahead of 2019, Shah said the fear of BJP winning again is forcing parties of differing ideologies to come together.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी कभी रिजर्वेशन को हटाने वाली नहीं है। इतना नहीं, आप हटाना चाहोगे तो आपको भारतीय जनता पार्टी हटाने भी नहीं देगी। ये कमिटमेंट भारतीय जनता पार्टी का है।
Amit Shah said BJP was founded 38 years ago with just 10 members. He said after years of struggle and hard work, today it has become the world's largest party.
20 राज्य सरकारों के अंदर भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मुख्यमंत्री है या भारतीय जनता पार्टी हिस्सेदार है और 10 सदस्यों से शुरू हुई ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज 11 करोड़ से ज्यादा सदस्यों के साथ विश्व की सबसे बड़ा राजनीतिक दल बनकर उभरा।
The BJP is celebrating its Foundation Day at its party offices across the country. After the dissolution of the Janata Party, the Bharatiya Janata Party was formed in Mumbai on 6th April 1980. Today, the BJP and its allies have governments at the centre and 21 states. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on now, the Jodhpur Sessions Court reserved the bail order of Bollywood actor Salman Khan in connection with the 1998 black buck poaching case. Consequently, the Bollywood actor had to spend another night in jail. Earlier on Thursday, pronouncing the verdict in the 20-year-old case, a court in Jodhpur sentenced the actor to 5 years in jail. Additionally, a penalty of 10,000 rupees was imposed on Khan. Salman was taken to Jodhpur Central Jail where he spent the night. The actor was found guilty of killing 2 black bucks in the Kankani village near Jodhpur in 1998 during the shooting of a film. The other co-accused in the case, Tabu, Saif Ali Khan, Sonali Bendre, Neelam, were cleared, of all charges. SRS Group Chairman Anil Jindal was sent to 5 days police custody by a Faridabad court. 4 of his associates who were arrested on Wednesday night have also been remanded in police custody. The police have filed 22 cases against the accused for duping people to the tune of hundreds of crores. The Economic Offence Wing is also investigating complaints against them. The Income Tax Department and the Enforcement Directorate will be roped in to assist the police in investigating all cases and complaints against the accused in the case. Well, Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli invited Indian investors to invest in India and announced that Nepal will establish special economic zones near the Indian borders to facilitate mutual trade and investment. Prime Minister Oli also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in an informal meeting. Both Prime Ministers will again meet on Saturday at the summit-level talks on issues of convergence on major concerns of both countries.
Prime Minister of Nepal KP Sharma Oli arrived in Delhi on Friday with a big delegation along with his wife Radhika Sakhya. He was received at airport by Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh. The visiting Prime Minister interacted with Indian business leaders while assuring them that he would address their concerns on trade matters. He also invited them to invest in Nepal.
We are planning to establish SEZ, special economic zones, in major industrial centers of Nepal, mostly in cities bordering India with incentives for industries including liberal labor law.
Oli said Nepal is a strong country now with rising people's expectations. He said it is targeting to become a middle-income country by 2030 while coming out of the least developed country category by 2022.
Between the two vibrant economic powers with huge population of the world, India and China, that assure you of a promising market of over 2.5 billion populations. We enjoy duty-free quota, free market access.
The Nepal Prime Minister said he had removed investment limits for FDI in almost all areas and India should use its geographical and cultural proximity to tap this opportunity. Members of his delegation said that China can never replace India in Nepal.
जो संभावनाएं हैं भारत के साथ जितनी संभावनाएं हैं उतना चीन के साथ नहीं है, तो चीन भी हमारा पड़ोसी राष्ट्र है, भारत भी हमारा पड़ोसी राष्ट्र है, हमारे लिए दुश्मन कोई नहीं है, लेकिन भारत विशेष मित्र है, ये कहते हुए हमें कोई हिचक नहीं होती है.
And culturally and socially and in so many other forms, we are very, very closely associated with India. We have thousands of years long association and cultural integration. That's why we cannot deny this fact. And definitely there should be enough exercise and exploration towards obtaining the potential for the mutual benefit of both the countries.
The Nepalese Prime Minister is on a 3-day state visit to India. He is staying in Rashtrapati Bhavan as special guest. He will meet Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu during the visit.
Time is ripe to take a new leap in India-Nepal relations. India has an advantage over Nepal, and Nepal too has the same because of cultural affinities. It will be interesting to see that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli talk sense and decide for a long-term strategy for strengthening the relationship. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Shiv Kumar in Delhi.
And finally, some sports news now, where there was no stopping the Indian weightlifting force with Sanjita Chanu and Deepak Lather adding a gold and a bronze to the team's tally, while the shuttlers and boxers continued to be unbeaten on the second day of the 21st Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast on Friday. Mirabai Chanu was the toast of the nation on Thursday. It was Sanjita's turn on Friday, claiming a gold and a Games snatch record in the 53 kilogram category. Chanu lifted a total of 192 kilograms to claim the gold and broke down in tears on the podium. Ensuring that the men also had a share in the day's exploits, Lather became the youngest Indian weightlifter to claim a Commonwealth Games medal with his bronze in the 69 kilogram category. In women's hockey, the Indian team brought its campaign back on track with a 4-1 thrashing of Malaysia. The triumph helped the side recover from the shocking 2-3 loss to the lower-ranked Wales team in the tournament opener. The Indians dismantled Scotland in the badminton court to top their mixed team event group and advance to the quarterfinals. Saina Nehwal was in good form and took down Julie McPherson in just 36 minutes during the mostly one-sided contest, which India won final. And that's it on this newscast. Good night.